Okay, so guys, we'll start with SQL based to advanced level of programming. By the time you finish this entire SQL programming, even if you are from the SQL background and what you are going to cover in SQL programming here, definitely there is a change. And mostly we will be using SQL programming towards real-time problem solving. So hence, even if you have a SQL programming background, do not feel like no, it is going to be same. It is definitely going to be 70 to 80% changes to your regular approach. So in this, we will have four sessions, guys. So the session one, I will take you through more navigation point in SQL, how to go for doing that, how to start the first programming in SQL, how to go for manipulating data in SQL. We'll go for session one. Session 2 is all about how to go for manipulate data with a conditional approach, how to summarize data using different aggregate functions, group by clauses, ordered by where, having clauses. We'll learn about that part. How to make it more conditional using case and when, how to update table, how to update with subqueries. That is where we learn about in session 2. Session 3 is all about joining relationship data model designing. What we did in Access, we'll be applying it over here in SQL Server. Session 4 is going to more advanced queries like how to write subqueries in SQL, how to go for ranking order, how to use partition by to suppress your subqueries, the partition by versus subqueries, how to create views, how to create stored procedure to automate the entire process, how to go for using SQL queries with clause, using injections, and learning about the SQL functions both from character to numeric to the datetime functions. Along with that, some of the miscellaneous functions which is going to be your mostly useful in SQL, we'll be finishing that. So in order to finish this session 1, 2, 3, 4, guys, this is something I've done wrong. So let me put it, this is session 4. So by finishing the session 4, guys, you are quite now your first programming language SQL, the knowledge of SQL will carry to your SAS, Oracle, Python, or Hive, or wherever you go. From this programming language, the line is quite open for you to go there. And the learning will be much faster because already you started with SQL. You have a complete RDBMS programming knowledge with you. So take this class very seriously, guys. I never want to mix your Excel things. I never want to mix your Access missing things into SQL. I'll only focus on SQL from today. If you really want to have your Access sessions doubt class, tomorrow after taking 3 hours of SQL class, I will keep 1 hour class buffer for you guys just to clear your doubts. If you have anything from Excel or anything from Access, please do assignments. Please. Okay. So I'm going to start with SQL Server with the session one today. I believe you guys have already installed SQL Server. Anyone is left from the group who hasn't installed SQL Server yet? Is there anyone who left from the group who hasn't installed SQL Server yet? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone left who hasn't installed SQL Server or everyone is having SQL Server?
Installed, sir.
Yes, sir, install.
It
We
is
have done.
installed, right?
Install, sir.
Okay, nice. Okay, fine. So I'll go for starting now. So session one, every folder of your session is given with your contents, what we are going to cover up, your data for that particular session, the code which will create, the output file which has come from the code, and the recording of these videos will be kept over here, right? And I believe you guys are going through the video through our website. Did you face any such problem apart from what you saw last time that it was not open? Apart from this, is there any issues in terms of following the videos and practicing? Guys, did you face any such problem? Like
No, sir.
following the video and doing the practicing is a problem for you guys? Tell me yes or no.
No, no problem, sir.
No problem.
Okay. So I'm going to start with session now, session one. So what I'll do here, I'll open SQL Server. So guys, what happens when you have installed SQL Server, if you go to this and go to your all program, and if you search with your SQL Server, it's coming here, SQL Server 2017 I have, SQL Server 2018 I have, So if I go to SQL Server here, I will have something called Management Studio. So do you have that installed in your system, which is called SQL Server Management Studio in your system?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what you'll do here, if you have that, you just write SQL Server. It shows you the application name is Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio 2018, which I have it. Might be you're having 2019, somebody's having 2012, 2014, so 2017 also it is possible that you guys have. So, but in my system, it is SQL Server 2018. And the only issue is what you can see, some of the program, I'm not saying everything, 99 98% program is going to be same, but 2% program would be there which is applicable to 2019, which is newly added, but that is not in 2018. So it may happen because SQL Server,
Sir,
when it comes with latest
uh,
version,
sir, I have installed MySQL, not
that's
MS
okay.
SQL.
If you
Okay.
can run there,
Yes.
the thing which will do it in SQL, so if it is you are having the same functionality there, then there is no such issues. If you really feel like no, there are many things which MySQL is not able to, the same syntax is not running into MySQL environment. In that case, you can go for installing SQL Server again. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So guys, once you have installed SQL Server, if you open that app, you see this window, the connect to server window will open, where it is going to ask you the server name, which is called database engine. The server name would be your local system server name, which I have it, which is given as this is what my server name, which by the time of installation it has created. The authentication will come as Windows authentication, right? So just in case you forgot about the server name, just put a dot here. Okay, you can remove this, you can put a dot. If you put a dot, that will also connect to your local server. But if you have your SQL server, just keep it like as it is, then go to next. Say connect. Now it is connected here. So now guys, we have our SQL server which is ready for to write program to manipulate data. This is the first window which is open. So in order to navigate this window, I will take you through once we write the programming part. But the first thing what I'll do here, I'll click on this query window, new query. The moment I click on this query window, the query window is being opened. It is giving me the complete path saying SQL Server query dot query one, SQL query one dot SQL. This is what the extension of my query name. It is given that my server name and the server path where it is located. So it is all giving my system's path here for my local server. So this is the area where I'll go for writing the program, guys. The first thing we must know what is SQL stands for. It is called Structured Query Language. Okay. So why it is called Structured Query Language? What SQL can do? We will use SQL Server to create database, table in database, design data model, and writing queries to retrieve and manipulate data in SQL Server. So guys, this is what you must know that okay, these are the things which I can do in SQL Server, right? So I just write this is what the comment I have given here. Selecting this comment, I go for right click, I can go for commenting this, or at the top I have given this called comment. So I just did comment. If I say undo, uncomment, I can do this way. Or I just say comment it here. 1 minute, guys. Okay, guys. So this is called structured query language, and we will use SQL Server to create database, to create table inside the database, how to design data model in database, writing queries to retrieve data, to manipulate it in SQL Server. That is where we need to learn the SQL programming. The first thing in SQL, how to create a database, right? So how will you go for doing that? You will write here create database. The database I want to give it here called batch underscore 2020 06. Always put a semicolon after each and every syntaxes, guys. So this is where I write uh, create database name and semicolon. If I run this program, I will say execute the program by clicking on this, or by pressing F5 also I can run. I just run this query. The moment I run this query here, it says below here, which is saying the commands completed successfully. Can you see this, guys? Right? And at the below, it is given as completion time, which is given the today's date, along with that how much time it took to process it. So guys, this is how we create database, and we go for checking whether the commands completed successfully. When I created this database batch underscore 2020 06, where it is created, if you go to your database in the left side, which is under your object explorer, if you expand this over here and refresh the database, you can see batch 2020 06 has been created. Can you see this, guys?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
see this?
Yes, sir.
If you expand this database, it shows you around 9 objects are there. Database diagrams, tables, views, external resources, synonyms, programmability, service broker, storage, along with security is coming. Now the next question is that when we create our database, what are the objects are inbuilt to it, right? So when we go for creating a database, the database objects are going to be one is called database diagrams, second one is called tables, third one is called views, fourth one is called external resources, fifth one is going to be your synonyms, sixth one is your programmability, seventh one is going to be your service broker, eighth one is going to be your storage, ninth one is going to be your security. Are you getting this, guys? You understood? You understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So these are what? These are all your database objects. Making sense, right? So what happens, guys? Guys, please tell me yes or no. You're not saying anything, you're going silent. I don't understand. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Please tell me yes or no. Otherwise, I'm going, I feel like there's some issues. Okay. Okay. So guys, this is how we go for creating database. Now, once you create the database, in the left side, you see the master database is active. And remember, by default, when you open SQL Server, the database which is being active always, that is called master database. If you want to make your own database active, what you will do here, you will write use database. If you run this program, then only it will show your database is active. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is how, guys, we go for creating database and we go for using the database. Okay. Now, once you create this database, you got to know how to use database. So this is called how to use a database. Okay. So this is what the answer. This is how we'll go for using a database. Now, how to drop a database. So how will you drop a database? You write drop database and you write the database name here. If you run this program, what is happening? It is saying drop database batch underscore 2020 06 because it is currently in use. Remember, when database is active and you're trying to drop this database, it will never happen because it's saying currently it is in use. Can you see this?
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So
Yes.
what to do in this case? How to go for doing it?
Have to select the master.
You go for selecting anything else apart from that current one. Now, if you run the program, it says commands completed successfully. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how, guys, we go for creating a database. This is how we go for using a database. This is how we go for dropping a database. Now, you know what happens? If you refresh this and go back to your database list, you never see batch 2020-06 is anymore is exists there. Just let me go back here, refresh this one more time. Do you see batch 2020-06 is there?
No.
No.
Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we drop a database, it removes database from SQL Server along with all the objects in it. Hence, it is always advisable to ask multiple times before dropping a database. Guys, do not go blindly to drop any database. Ask multiple times, why do you want to drop this database? If it is that authenticity is coming, no, we should not keep this database, then only you can go for dropping it. Otherwise, you should not going for blindly to drop any database. Make sure that you do not do this practice anymore. Right, guys? So this is how we go for. Again, I go for creating my database here. Though I have dropped it, it is no more in use now. So I just go for creating the database. It is created now. You can see it here. Now I'll go for using my database. Say use and the database here. If you run this program, you see database is active. Can you see this? Right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So this
Yes, sir.
is how we understood how to go for creating database, how to go for reusing database, how to go for dropping a database, what are the database objects we have discussed. So these are the around 9 database objects. Whenever we go and create, we get through. Now, out of what are the database object is quite important for a data scientist. So the database object which is going to be in our use, I'll keep that. I will not keep external resources, remove this. I will not keep this, remove this. I don't want to keep remaining all, remove this. So we just need tables, views, programmability. These are the objects is much needed for a data scientist. Are you getting it? These are the objects which is much needed for data scientists. How about REST all database object? This is what the question will come to your mind. Those objects goes to a SQL Server database administrator. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is going to related to if you talk about your friend, those are working in SQL Server. If you ask him, hey, what exactly you do in SQL Server, he'll say, I'm working like a DBA, SQL Server Database Administrator. Or some people say that I'm a SQL developer. They are into mostly about creating database, creating tables, making relationship, designing this table, getting the data ready for the management to use for them. And there is another person. So knowing SQL programming, we can fit into first as SQL developer job, or some people they call this as SQL programmer job. Second, we can go for SQL database administrator.
DBA.
Are you getting it? So this is called database administrator. Third, you can work like SQL data scientist. So these are the three different areas where the job can be offered to you, but we will be more focused toward data scientist. Okay. Now, when we know how to create our database, we must start with we must start with how to create a table inside the database. Right? So how will you go for creating a table? Now let me show you here, guys. So we have a student details. So this is what the student database which we have it, which is given student ID. So we have a table called student inquiry. Inside this, we have a student ID, student name, age, gender, education, year of experience, date of inquiry, and the course which they opted. This is how the table is given to you. If you look closely, guys, this table is having around 9 records and it has around 8 columns. So how will you go for creating this table? You write here, before going to create a table, make sure that your database is active here, so that when you create the table and run, that goes and stored into your active database here. So to create a table, you write create table, and table name is student underscore inquiry, right? And how will you go for creating this table? Just put a static bracket and the bracket end over here, then put a semicolon. The first field which is going to be student ID. Student ID is going to be varchar. I put it here as, let's say, student maximum going to 10 character long. Then I'll have a student name is another field which is going to character field. So I'll put it as a varchar of 20 is the length of this character. Maximum character for a name can be 20. Next, I go for age, which is integer. Then I go for gender, which is going to be varchar, and I give it as 10 is the maximum length. Then we go for education. So I go for creating education, and I go for maximum 20 character. I go for year of experience, which is an integer field. It's a numeric value. I go for date of inquiry, which is going to date as a data type. I go for the course which I want to opt it for. That is also going to varchar of 20 character length. Like that, guys, I go for creating my table here. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Once I create this table, if I run the program, what is happening here? If you look at it here, run the program, you see the commands completed successfully. Can you see the at the below here? Right. Now, where do you want to see your table? You will see your table. So you have to go back to your database, go and refresh the database, go to batch, go to database. You have table as an object. Inside the table, there's a table which is created, which is called as what? Student underscore inquiry. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
After writing a program to create a table, we must see below things First, make sure your database where you want this table to be stored must have selected. Second, post running the query, check in the database whether you have created the table inside the database. You checked it, it is created already. Now, next, what are the table objects? The way you have database objects, guys, same way you will also have your database, your table. The way you have database objects, you will also have table objects. What are the table objects you see here? First one is
Column.
Columns.
columns. Second one is
Keys.
Keys.
keys. Third one is
Constants.
constraints. Fourth one is
Triggers.
Triggers.
fifth one is
Index.
Indexes.
sixth one is
Statistics.
Statistics.
okay. So these are what? These are the different table objects which we have it. Now go for expanding the column. What do you see here, guys? All the field names are coming,
Yes.
Yeah.
as well as when we expand table, we see column name with data type and the default constraint is null coming for each fields. Yes or no? So when you
Yes.
say null, that means this particular column can have a null value, right? So by default, what is the default constraint is null, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Everyone getting this?
So Madhu here.
Yeah, Madhu.
What is constraint exactly?
Okay. So Madhu, when we go for creating a particular table with column, do you
Mhm.
think in gender you can put the customer name?
No.
Gender has to have a male or female or unisex values, right?
Yes.
So when you give any restriction to that particular column value, that is called constraint. If you do
Okay.
not define any, so some columns should not have any null value. If you're defining a column as a primary key, do you think that field will have any null value? No, right?
No.
So in that case, we have to give a constraint saying not null. That means this
Okay.
particular column will not have any null value. Understood
Oh,
now?
okay.
Okay. So guys, so this is how we'll talk about constraint in more details. So we have created the table, we understood table objects, we understood inside these columns what are the fields, what are the data types, you have it. Now how to select your table? You write here what? Select star from student underscore inquiry. What is that? Is called as a table name.
Yeah.
What is happening if you run this program? It is just showing your table name having the header. Do you have any values inside?
Structure.
Right? By running this above program, we can see only table headers are coming, but no records. Right? So how to get records? To see records in a table, we must insert records in it. Right? So how will you go for inserting records to a table? You write insert into student underscore inquiry. Then you write values bracket start. What would be the value first? S1. Then going for Narendra. Age is 33. Is numeric, keep as it is. Next is going to be a gender as male. Then going for BTech. Then going for year of experience is 4. Date of inquiry, which should be 01/01/2019. 01/01/2019. Then you have course which is called data science. So now what happens, guys, if you run this program, it says that one row affected. What does it mean? That means in your table you have added one record in it. So now if you run the program, you see one record is being added. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now if I go for let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So did
Second
you
one
select
is,
the table and then execute that for the values to come?
sorry,
Did you select the table and then execute that for the values to come?
yes, is going for 32.
Sir, I think the first
Which one? I put it 0. Let's say I put it here 02. I put it, let's say, reporting. This is going to be Nari. I go with 31. Male BTech having 4 years of experience. Guys, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
In
sir.
between, I lost my internet. Okay. Okay. So the table which we were opening, this is the table. Okay. Nari, this is going data science, is all fine. Then I put it here, let's say Madhu. I put it here called female. I put it here something called 27 or 6. I put it here 4 years experience data science. Let's say this is for Sarda, male. This is all. This is going for Kiran, and this is for data analytics. I give it like name like this. Then I go for this is called, let's say, Padmini. This is called Dinesh. This is called Vikas. So for Padmini, I'll make this to female. Okay. So guys, this is how I inserted these values. Now I'll just run this excluding the first line because already I have run that one. Now it says one row affected multiple times here because number of records you created and run, it is showing all one row affected. Now if you go and select your table, select start from the table, it's showing that your table with S1 to S9 ID, all the student name, their years of experience, everything is coming here. Making sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how we go for creating a table. Now I understand you might be thinking, do we really need to create table manually? Answer is big no. We will learn about reading data into SQL Server through SQL Server import export wizards. We learned that part. Okay. So as of now, you don't get panic looking at this way that we have to looking at this way we have to go for creating a table manual. We will not do that. That will come through import and export wizard. But as of now, this is how we go for creating a table. Now the next question is that how to delete a table. So this is what you know how to go for sorry how to drop a table. So to drop a table, you write drop table and the
Table
table
name.
name is student inquiry. If you run this program, what happens? It says that your commands completed successfully. And if you go back to your database, just to refresh, open your batch 2020-06, go to the tables. You do not see any table with the name of what? Student inquiry. Does it exist, guys?
No.
No.
No, right? So note, drop will remove or called vanish the entire table from the database, right? Hence, before dropping a table, we must ask 1,000 times why. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Understood? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now, we'll start with again, though the table is vanished, let's create it one more time. So, how will you go for creating this? Run the program. Commands completed successfully. Go to your database, refresh the database table. You can see the table is created. So when we create the table, we see an extension before the table as dvo dot student underscore inquiry. What is dvo stands here?
Database object.
Database object, right? So this is what we normally see here in the left side. What I'll do here, so now you can go for select star from student underscore inquiry. If you run this program, you don't see any record inside it. So what to do? You are going to again insert values inside the table. You will go for writing one more time. Select star from student underscore inquiry. If you run this program here, guys, it shows that your table is ready. So we understand in dropping, we will vanish the entire table. Now, the next question, how to delete a table, right? How to delete a table. To delete a table, like delete the table name. See what is happening here, guys? It says that 9 rows affected. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
So when you say 9 rows affected, that means if you write select star from student underscore inquiry, it says that your table header is exist, but no records are there. Delete table will delete all the records. However, table remain exist. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Understood now?
Sir,
Yes.
Yes.
so the difference between drop and delete is delete will contain the header file, whereas drop will remove everything. Is
Drop is going to completely remove, vanish the entire table from the database.
okay.
Deleting someone's number from the mobile phone. What does it mean? The person is exist, right? But it is
Okay.
not in your mobile phone. But
Okay.
killing someone, gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, this is how we understand the difference between delete and your drop. Now, what we'll do here, one more time, we go for inserting values because we want to see a table should be having records now. Now, if you write select star from student underscore inquiry, what does it shows? The table is there. We'll talk about truncating a table. So there is something called what is truncating a table? This is the question. To truncating, so what you write here, truncate table and the table name. If you run the program, guys, what is happening? What is happening? Tell me. Commands completed successfully. Now, if you go back, select star from student underscore inquiry, what is happening here? The header is coming. Do you have any records inside the table?
No.
So truncate will delete all the records, right? However,
Then what?
table remain exist.
Same like delete, right?
Simply delete. But
Then
but but in delete, what happens? We can delete records based on criteria. What are those criteria? For example, delete student inquiry where 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 is like 33, where is equal to 33. If you're giving this condition, run this program, it says that 0 rows are affected. Why it's saying that? So delete. So we are writing
Sir,
delete.
currently we do not have any data in the table. So
Do not have any records.
Okay.
currently we don't have any
Yes.
records.
So just go for. Now if you run this program, you see the records are there. Now if you say delete student where age is 33, if you run the program, 6 rows were affected. Now if you write select star from student underscore inquiry, what is happening here? It shows only the age which is not equal to 33. Can you see this? So
Yes, sir.
in delete query, we can delete records based on criteria, right? But in truncate, we just go for deleting records, but we cannot delete record based on criteria the way we can do it in delete. Interview question. This is mostly if you're having less than 3 years of experience, it is expected that this kind of question will come to you guys. What is the difference between drop delete, truncate a table. So how to answer? Drop will
Vanish the table.
vanish the table. Delete will delete entire records or records based on
criteria or conditions.
areas. Truncate
Will delete entire records.
will delete only the records from the table. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why do we use truncate?
Sir, because here I have a doubt.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, in Oracle, I heard that if we're doing some truncate operation, then we can't do rollback. But if we're doing delete, then we can do rollback operation. So is that
So
same?
I'll come to that. That is something called rollback commit. We'll discuss that later, not now. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So guys, why do we go for truncate? Think logically. I got day one data of 200 records. I got day two data, which is 500 records, including day one. Are you getting it? Day three, I got 700 records, 700 records, including day one and day two. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Are you getting this? So that means when I'll go to day four, when I am in day four, I will get all the records from day one to day four. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So in this case, do you really need to keep the previous day records in the table? No, right?
Mm.
What you'll do now? You will truncate.
Truncate.
In this case, we will truncate the previous records and will add the new records. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this is how the scenario where people will ask you, why do we use truncate if we delete is there? So this is the scenario we go for, right? Delete takes more processing time as compared to truncate, right? One major thing in delete we can undo, right? In truncate we cannot undo records. Do you understand what is the meaning of undo?
Yes, sir.
Control Z, right? So we can do undo in delete, but we cannot do undo in your truncate. We learned that part. So this is what, guys, the major part of the programming in SQL, which starts from your creating database to dropping database to using database to knowing the objects inside the database to create a table object inside the database, inserting the values to the table, selecting the table, deleting the table, truncating the table, dropping the table. These all are the parts which we covered in the first part. Do you have any doubts, guys? Do you have any doubt?
So, as a data scientist, we don't need to create a table or delete that, right?
No, that will discuss about importing and exporting wizard. So don't worry. We don't have to create any table defining data types and all. But yes, sometimes to quickly get some dummy insights from the data, we do not have to depend on IT team to prepare that for us. Sometimes we have to do this hands on. So in that case, if you are having this knowledge, it is always good to have.
Okay. And mostly we need to select the data from table. We
Yes.
have that.
Mostly we have to go through the journey in SQL to how to read the data, how to retrieve the data, how to manipulate the data, how to design the data model using joining and relationship. That is very important.
Okay.
So Sarthak here, I have a doubt, sir.
Yes.
So once we drop any table, is there any feature to get back that table again? Actually, in Oracle, there is a feature to get back those drop table.
In SQL, we don't have it.
Ach-
Might be the latest version of SQL coming where they have this facility, but as of today, I don't think dropping a table can be called back. Deleting, updating, that can be rollback and roll commit, but I don't think the dropping table can be. Okay.
So that's a disadvantage of Microsoft SQL Server.
So every tools, every application, so we don't call them tools, we call these are the business applications. So every business application, there are some advantages and disadvantages. So if you find any application without having any disadvantages, then the license cost is very high.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So guys, so we
Sir,
have,
because sir,
yeah, Vikas.
sir, what about data types? So, are you going to tell us about the data types?
Everything will come through. So my approach is going through the practical,
Okay.
not a theory based. So in within the practical, if you understand, is really helpful. But can you tell me what are the data types we covered today?
Number, varchar,
We covered
and
integer, we covered varchar,
integer,
and we also covered date. Correct.
date.
Same
Yes.
way, we'll also add long integer, small integer, big integer. We'll also add some decimal values like floating values, how to add that into. So we'll learn that part one by one. Okay.
Okay.
But as of now,
And
yes.
actually, sir, those part are missing in Access. So
Now,
actually,
access,
today
as
actually.
I told you from the beginning,
Mhm.
do not stress more into access because whatever things we can cover up, that we have done that in access. Short
Okay.
text, long text, double, I think we have done. Date time also we have done, right? Integer we have done, long integer.
Yes.
So that is important. So no need to worry about it. If you really feel like something coming in a practical way where you can always Google to get that output. But as I
Okay,
said
sir.
from the beginning, access do not put that much stress. But doing access assignments, it will open your journey towards SQL, R, Python, SAS. Everything is going to be much easier after that. Make sure you're finishing access assignments.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So guys, we have finished now your class up to this. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this, guys?
No,
No, sir. We're good.
We are good, right? Okay.
Yes.
Sir,
So
I do have,
now what happens here?
hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, Ajay here. I have a doubt.
Yes, Ajay, tell me.
Sir, suppose while we are deleting certain record based on a criteria,
Hmm.
suppose we want to delete an individual record like
Ah,
someone names only.
correct. We can do that. Delete table where name equal to Ajay. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. But we will have a class on delete queries. We'll do lots of examples on delete queries. Don't worry. As of now, when you go for creating a database, creating a table, whatever I covered, that is enough. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So guys, what happens when you go for creating a table? Now we want to add some columns to the table. Drop some columns from the table. These are the conditions will come to you. Yes or no? Adding columns, dropping columns to an existing table. So let's start with adding and dropping columns from a table. Let's start with adding and dropping columns from a table. So we have a table here called select star from student underscore inquiry. When you run the program, what is happening here? The table is coming. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
You write alter table student inquiry, add country varchar 20. So you are adding a column. Can you see this? You write add column country as varchar. Can you see this?
Yes.
Right? So if you write add column, it's a wrong syntax will come through. You just write the field name and that's it. If you say select star from student underscore inquiry, what is happening, guys, here? What is happening?
Country column is added.
One
Country
column is added.
added
Yes.
and it has
Null value.
Null values.
Default value null.
Do not have any values.
understood.
Yes.
Okay. So this is how, guys, we go for understanding about how to go for adding a column. How to drop a column. In order to drop a column, you will again write alter table student inquiry, drop column, what is happening here? Can you see this?
Yeah.
What did you see here? That you added a column, you also dropped a column. Now, what if we want to add two columns? Let's say we write here alter table student underscore inquiry, add country varchar 20, region can you see this? So alter table student inquiry, you're adding column to this. What is happening here? Is coming with two columns.
Yes.
If you want to drop, what is happening here? You have to define which column. You are right, drop column, country and region. Is it working now? Is it clear to everyone, guys?
Sir, Shudipta here.
Yes, sir.
So to drop any column from a specific table, first we to start with alter table,
Yes.
or we will be selecting the table and then we will repeat
No, it's not
dropping.
going to happen in SQL.
Okay. Okay.
Got it? So this is how you can go to column. You can also right click and you can say delete the column here, right? But if you write the program, it is going to alter table, then table name, drop the column. If you want to rename something from this table, guys, let's say date of inquiry, I rename this to DOE. That means now if I run this program, it shows me my column name has been changed to DOE. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
To rename a column, we can select the table object column and rename the desired column. So guys, did you understand?
Yes.
Now we learn about constraint. Before we'll start with the constraint, would you like to take a break, guys? Okay. So guys, what we'll do here, we'll start with constraint.
Sir, Madhu here. Before
Yes.
going to the constant part, I just had a small doubt.
Mhm.
Sir, slightly go up. To add the column, if we'll
Hmm.
write only add, so it will automatically know that what like data we're entering. Like, we didn't mention column or row over here. We just mentioned the
No,
name.
when we add column, it's going to add the column with 0. If there is no value, it will give you null, null.
Mm-hmm.
Null
No, no,
is
no.
a
Yeah, I'm asking. See, we have only written add the value, the field value, and I mean both the field we have to enter. So
correct.
how the system will know that whether it's a row or the column?
So you are saying when you say alter table, add the field name. This
Mm-hmm.
is when you say this is system is identifying this is a field name. It's not a record. It's a field name. So
Mm-hmm.
field name means it's a column
Acha, okay.
because the
Because
field name
while
has to be defined by what the character, the data type.
uh-huh, hmm.
That's it.
Okay, because while deleting we are mentioning the column name exactly. While
No, no, no,
dropping
no. We
the
are deleting. We are mentioning the column name with the criteria value that you want to remove from that column.
yeah, down the last one. No, not this one, the end one, the last one.
Which one?
After adding the column, you have dropped that column again. Not delete one, the drop one.
So you are
Yeah,
saying drop
yeah,
or delete?
drop.
Drop column name. That's it.
So for dropping, we are mentioning drop column, then
Which
which
column
column
you
we
want to
will
drop? The column
drop.
name.
But while adding, we don't have to
No,
mention
we don't have to.
column. It will automatically take, is it?
Yes, yes. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. So guys, we're going to start with constraint. So when we create a table, we must follow some rules or regulation, right? So to avoid these rules, we must use constraints. Example, let's say we have given this table. Let's say we have created this table. Can you see this? Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you run this, so when you run this table, it says the table is already existed in the database. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Right. So I add here version 1. Now this is what I'm going to create the table.
Okay.
Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to create the new table now, which is called version 1. Making sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In this, I add the constraint saying that not null. My student ID should not be having a null value, not null. Age could be null value, doesn't matter. Gender should be not null. Education, I need to understand what education they have. I say not null. Year of experience, you can ignore, it is not required. But if your course should be not null and date should be not null, that means you are giving a constant saying that these are the column should not have any blank values inside it. It must contain some values. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
If you run this program, if you write select star from, the table name is what? The table name is what, guys?
Correct. Version 1.
Version 1.
View.
If you run this program, what is happening here? The table is created. Now, if you go to your database, refresh the database, come to the table. If you look at this table with the columns, you can see wherever you did not mention not null, it is coming with null. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Making sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, not null is a constraint to give a criteria that this field value should not be null. It has to have a value inside it. Understood now, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I want to go for creating version 2, right? So I go for creating another field which is called version 2, but in this I'll go for adding a constraint called Padmini. Padmini as what? The constraint name is Padmini. It has to take unique to your field called student ID. Are you getting this? So now what happens if I run this program, commands completed successfully. If you go for writing select star from student underscore inquiry version 2, what does it give you here? It is going to give you the table with columns. Now, what is happening here? Student ID is given as not null, but if I go to the keys, it is added a primary key now. It's a unique key is added here. Can you see this? Guys, can you see
Good.
the unique key name is Padmini?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I go to drop this unique key, I can write alter table name. I can write drop. What do you write here? Drop constraint. Constraint name is what? Padmini. Are you getting this?
Yes.
So this is how we go for dropping the constraint. Now, after this, if you go and refresh the table, there is no key inside this table. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Same way, we can also add a primary key. Version 3, I call this as a primary key. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Now what happens if I run the program here? It is created a table with the key called primary key. If you go to constraint, the key is given as what? Primary key. Now how to go for removing that? So you can write here, right? So alter table name. You can go for writing here the constraint, drop constraint as what you have given as Padmini. Are you getting this, guys?
Yes.
So like this, we also have constraints like null, not
Sir,
null.
one thing,
1 minute,
Padmini here.
1 minute. Primary key,
Yes.
unique key, we can go for default or we can go for check. So these are some constants we can add it, but as I said, being a data scientist, we never go for creating any table with the constant. But yes, if somebody is going to ask you these questions, we can say. The question can also come, can we add two primary keys? Yes, we can add two primary keys. Yes, Padmini. What is the question?
Uh, Sir, what is the difference between the primary key and a unique key of a
Okay.
table?
Okay. Now, the difference between primary key and unique key. Padmini, did you attend last class in Access?
Yes.
Didn't I tell you about the keys concept?
Yes. So we have learned about the foreign keys, primary keys,
But I didn't tell you about the unique keys.
unique keys.
Can
You,
anyone answer this question if I've covered?
Yeah, unique key will be unique, but it can have null values.
It can have one null value.
Yeah, one null
This is
value.
what Dinesh asked me.
Yeah, I asked.
yes, sir. Actually, I have written it. Yes, sir. I remember.
Okay.
And you have given beta examples.
Yes. Primary key,
Yes.
it is unique in nature. It does not take null value.
Null values.
Unique key, it is unique in nature, and it can take a single null value. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I just give a story, guys. I was taking interview with some senior guy, and the person who came for the interview, so there are many people that came that day for the interview, and my senior boss, who was the VP, he was asking only one question: what is the difference between primary key and the unique key? Some people they answered correctly, some people they did not answer correctly. All of a sudden, one guy came in. The first question he asked him about the primary key and the unique key. He answered that very correctly. Out of 10, he answered only two questions correctly. 8 questions was wrong, which I asked him, right? But my VP said, no, I want this guy because he answered my question, what is the difference between primary key and unique key? However, I knew that this is a very theoretical question anybody can answer, but I was asking practical question that guy could not answer. But my VP said, I want this guy. So I have to take this guy. So these are the questions also very important sometimes, guys. We never know how things happen. Sometimes we are afraid of attending the interview. नहीं नहीं मैं इंटरव्यू जाऊंगा क्या होगा? I may not be able to clear it. But with that fear, somewhere you feel like चलो इंटरव्यू दे देते हैं थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस लेते हैं यार क्या हो जाता है. You have gone for the interview and they ask certain questions which you are aware of it and you answered that you got selected there. Then you will call the HR. What is my feedback? What is my feedback? This happens, guys. So do not afraid of giving interviews. It is always going with your luck sometimes as well as your efforts. Understood, guys? So primary key, unique
Yes.
key is quite important for every interview. Drop, delete, truncate, difference. It is also important because nowadays anybody who got job, if you ask them they got the interview questions, somewhere 30% students will say they got these two questions, primary key, unique key, as well as drop, delete, truncate, difference. Definitely they got through these kind of questions. So this is important. Okay. So guys, we completed about the constraint. Did you understand how constraint is important to create a table? Understood to everyone?
Yes.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
Shobito here.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt related to this constraint. First of all, I just want to clarify one thing. Can we tell constraint is a kind of to apply conditions in a specific table?
Correct. Rules and regulations to create a table.
Okay.
I have to create a age field. The age field value should not be less than 20. It's a
Okay.
validation, right?
Yes.
This is where we can give a check. We can give a check constraint. Check age is greater than 20.
Okay.
Anybody puts age less than 19, the system will not take those data. It will ignore.
Okay. And another question which I have from a long time, that is this comes related between this primary key, unique key, and this foreign keys. So I just want to know this primary key, unique keys. It will be applicable to specific in a complete table to a separate column, for this will be the primary key, or some data inside that particular part will be call it as a primary key?
I did not get your question.
Yeah,
I think
I'll repeat your question. I'll repeat the question once again. So I'm
1 minute.
asking.
1 minute. 1 minute. Yes. What's your question?
Yes, so I'm asking regarding this primary key, unique key, and foreign keys. So when we are putting these primary keys into a specific table, so a separate column will be generated for that key,
No,
or
no,
it
no,
will
no,
be
no,
inside
no.
the data.
Inside the data only, you are identifying within the student table, student ID should not be duplicated. It should be S1 to S9. It should not repeat S1 twice.
No, why I'm asking you this, because I just want to relate it with the access.
no.
For example, when we are creating a table or we are putting a data, so once we are clicking on the table, a primary key column is coming. Then we are unchecking that to remove that. So
Yes.
Correct.
where we can see a column is coming for a specific primary key,
Correct.
right? So that's what I got confused, because this doubt is from my college time, which I have not clarified. So
No, no,
that's
no,
why I
no.
want
See,
to
I tell you
clarify
one
now.
thing.
So
I tell you one thing. So whenever we have a table, we have
Hmm.
to justify this table is unique, right?
Yeah.
So when we have a sales order table, we have to create what auto increment column that is called order number, right? The moment the next order comes, it gives the next order number, which is unique. Are you getting it? So
So
this is called auto increment to the order
okay.
ID.
So can you please repeat once again?
Let's say I have a order ID. Is
Okay.
that clear now?
Yes. Yes.
It should be auto increment. When the next
Okay.
order comes, it gives me the next index number,
Okay.
right? So
Yes.
there you don't have to define this primary key, it is automatically defined. But
Okay.
when you are creating a table, student table, there is no sales order, right? Then
Yes.
it is depending on the scope of the table. In this scope of the table, I want to define my student ID as a primary key. So
Okay.
I define constant. Constant name is Padmini. Padmini is referring to as a primary key to taking column name as student ID. Or how we go for creating the table is another way to create the table with the primary key. So let me show you over here. We can do that without defining here. We can write, that is also fine. Are you getting it?
Okay. Okay.
We can also define this column as unique. That is also fine.
Okay.
Understood now? In
Okay.
SQL or in Access, I always said you one thing. We will not give system to define as a primary key. We will define a primary key, just remove it as of now. When we go for the primary key concept, I will tell you how to create that. And we created this. Yes or no?
Okay.
sir, this is because here, sir, this is one scenario, and as Sudipta was asking,
Mm.
sir, in Access, actually, if we are not having any primary key, so it is automatically generating, like adding one another column, like serial number.
It is
So it
increment.
is make,
It
yeah,
is
it is making
incremental
to
ID.
that, yeah, and that is making that as a primary key table.
Yeah. So why should we create that? Ignore it.
Yeah,
So that is the reason why we are removing the primary key while we are creating a table or importing the data, right?
but that can be done, right, sir?
What do you mean that
Like,
can be done?
if we assign one column having the serial number, and that will be auto increment. So if we are not having any ID, like primary
We
ID,
can
so
do
we
that.
can make that.
So,
Yeah,
so I gave an example of sales order, right?
yeah,
When
yeah.
you are getting the sales order, that order ID should be incremental.
Yes, correct.
Understood?
Yes. So
So
both
Every,
can be done. So
it is
yeah.
the scope. It is the scope of the table when you're creating. You need to
Yes.
understand what field has to be defined as auto incremental, what field has to be defined as primary key. Or if the auto incremental can be considered as a primary key, then define this as it is. We are going to discuss about that in the next query. Yes, Ajay.
Sir, me, Sardar. So I have a
Sardar.
doubt on that unique key. So you told multiple null values are not allowed in unique key,
Correct.
right? So I think that's a feature only in SQL Server, but only in Oracle we can allow multiple null values in unique key constant.
Okay, let me tell you one thing, guys. I never use Oracle. I will not use Oracle. I don't like Oracle. I don't want to see Oracle. Forget about Oracle. Do not compare Oracle with SQL Server. You talk to me about SQL Server, I'll talk about SQL Server. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is there anywhere the course contents we have mentioned we are going to cover Oracle? No, right?
No, sir.
So there is no point of discussing about Oracle. Ignore. That is not going to come our way. There is database programming for different softwares or the applications. Oracle have different way to create. A MySQL will have a different way to treat. DB2 will have different way to treat. Vertica will have different way to treat. Informix will have a different way to treat. Sybase will have a different way to treat. But we will be learning only SQL Server. We are not going into the developer side. We are talking about data science. We need to understand the SQL programming only. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, any question coming to mind comparing to Oracle, please keep that with you. Let me finish SQL Server. Clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So if you're using MySQL, you create a table as user table. You are creating, let's say, user ID. So you're creating a user IDs, which is auto increment. Can you see this? Guys, can you see this?
Yeah.
This is how you can use MySQL to create auto increment, but it never walks into your SQL Server. In SQL Server, how do we create? Create table persons where we write person ID as integer. It is identity as 1 and 1. It is auto increment is going to create that identity as a primary key. We are giving here. Understood now? Then the last name and the first name. So this is how we go for adding values to the table, and when we see this, it is automatically increment to 2. Now if I go for adding one more column to this, which is called, let's say, Sudipto Dev. Sudipto and Dev. We added now. If I run this program, the auto increment has given to 3. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how, guys, we go for adding values to a particular column. Making sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is called auto increment. So guys, we have already done this part. We will go for the next. So the next part is constraint part is over. Types of constraint is over. Drop modify constraint is over. Now we're going for importing and exporting data to SQL Server. So guys, how to go for? We'll go for importing and exporting data from SQL Server. Here we will cover use of SQL Server import and export wizard. What does it mean, guys? If you look at here the data, we have these are the tables. Can you see this? Made new
Yes.
2016 XLSX, text file, CSV file. These are the tables are given here. We want to import this table. How will you go for importing this table? You go to select your database, right click, you have an option called task, go to import data. The moment you click on import data, it's showing welcome to SQL Server import export wizard. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Next. In the next here, you will go for selecting the data source, which is an Excel file now. The Excel file you will browse from your D drive, batch, phase 1, SQL Server, going to import data from session 1, data will go for importing made new 2016. by default, it has identified it is 2007 to 2010 Excel because it's the higher version of the Excel file. The first row has column names. Always remember this has to be selected tick. Next, the data source was Excel. Now the destination would be here SQL Server Native Client 11.0. Right? This is the server name. I'm all fine. Next. When you go to the next, it's saying that two options. One is copy data from one or more table or views, or write a query to specify the data to be transferred. I said I want to go for copying data from one or more table or views. Next. Which in this Excel file there are two sheets. Which sheet you want to import? This. What table name you want to give? I want to give May 2020. This is gonna be my table name. I said preview my table. How does it look like? Okay, I'm all fine. Yes, my table looks like okay. Now I go to next. In the next, run immediately or save it to SSIS package. I will say do not go for SSIS package. SSIS stands for SQL Server Integrated Service Package. But for me, it is quite important. Run immediately to get data into my database. Then say finish. The moment you say finish, it says that initializing the data flow, the connection, the SQL command, everything is running at the backend. It has shown you that the data has been copied of 5,112 rows. I said close. The moment I say close, if I go back to my database, if I look at my table, there is a table has been created with the name of May 2020. Can you see this, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I expand this, I have these the columns. Can you see this? By default, system has identified if the customer is more than 8 digit, it is showing as floating number. If company is a character value with some kind of special character, the way you have a field called doctor dot dr dot redis, dot is there, space is there, plus symbol is there, hence there are some Unicode values within the company name. It is reading this as nvarchar. Once you started reading with the first character values in nvarchar, rest all character fields is going to read it as nvarchar. The car destination date system has identified is the date time. Can you see this? Guys, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Now I go to the column which is called spend amount. I right click on this. I rename this column. I call this as a spend. That's it. Okay, guys. Now you have seen that your table is there already. Now you go for writing select star from May underscore 2020, which you just now imported. If you run the program, you see the table is coming at the below. Right? After running the query for May underscore 2020, we see below windows. First, what do you see? Results. Yes or no? To print the table. Second, called messages. Can you see this here?
Yes.
Yes.
Messages is what? How many rows are affected? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It shows rows are affected. Below here is a taskbar. Which shows query executed successfully. 4. Again taskbar. It shows the server name, the local server name. 5th, it also shows your taskbar. For what? Local server path. Can you see this? Then again it is 6 dot, which is a taskbar which is defining database name. Then 7 called taskbar which showing that processing time. 8, this is showing again taskbar as what? Number of rows are affected. Are you getting this? So when we run the program, we have to be familiar with these are the windows. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So in SQL, you have a query window, you have an explorer window, you have a taskbar, you have a result or message windows, where you need to know each and every windows, how does it functions. Is that clear to everyone now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. While importing data using import and export wizard, we followed as below. First, select the database. Yes or no? Right? You go for selecting database. Right click, task. Right click and select task. Third, select in the task, you go for importing import data. Select import data. Fourth, once you go for selecting task and import data, you go for next, which is saying select SQL Server import export wizard, which is going to select as what? Data source. Select data source and browse the location. 5. Select destination as SQL Server Native Client 11.0. Always. 6. Select copy data from table or view. 7. Select the sheet you want to import. 8. Give the table name. 9. Preview the table. 10. This is optional. Preview the table is called optional. If you want, you can. Otherwise, you can leave it. 10 is going to be run and finish to see number of rows transferred. Yes or no, guys? You remember all these 10 steps,
Yes, sir.
right? Now, we will learn how to export data from a SQL server. How will you go for doing this? Right click, task, export data. In the export data, what would be a data source? Just the reverse is going to be SQL Server Native Client 11.0. From here, you want to export to where? The data source, the destination would be an Excel file. Where you want to export it? I want to export it to my SQL Server session 1 output folder called made 2020 underscore exp. It would be saved into Excel file format. I said yes. Next. It is going to store into 97 2003. I said go for 2007 2010. See what is going to happen here. Next. Copy data from one or more table views. I said all fine. In SQL you have these many tables. Which table you want to export? This. What tab name you want to give it here? Called made Australia data 2020. This is the tab name in the Excel file is going to create. Preview. Yes, all my data is all fine. Next. Next. And so finish. The moment you finish this here, it has been exported 5112 rows. Close it. Go back to the folder. Can you see data has been exported? Even if you decided 97 2003, It is exported to which format? 97 2003. Can you see this? Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
But it may not happen in your real-time office. When we have a free version, it never export data to the higher version of the Excel file. I have free version of SQL Server, but if you are working into real time in your organization, when you go for exporting, you can decide which version you can export that way. Now, if you open this Excel file, how your data looks like. Your data looks like this way. Can you see this? Guys, can you see this?
Yes.
Now,
Sir.
it has the tab name, Made Australia Data 2020. Making sense? Guys, making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we need to close this. So this is how we finished how to go for importing and exporting data. So while exporting data, steps we followed are select database. Second, select task and
Export.
export data. Third,
Select data source.
data source. आज SQL Server Native Client
Client
11.0. 4. Select destination as data source to Excel or any file you can go for. Text file also you can do this. 5. Select table to be exported to the destination. 6. Select table and run, then finish. Is this clear now? Understood?
Yes.
Now,
Yes, sir.
how to describe your database and tables and columns in the table. So what does it
Yeah, I
mean?
have a small question. This is
Yes,
Padmini.
tell me.
So, sir, the file that we are importing to the SQL server, if it has multiple sheets in it,
We can import all the sheets together by giving
how
different
do
data.
we do? How do we do that?
We'll do that in real time when we go for doing data model designing from the Excel file. But
Okay.
as of now, you got to know only one sheet you are importing. Understood?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just practice this. We can do it.
Okay.
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 So how to describe your database, guys? What happens? Every individual we have our own identity. For example, my name is Devendra Das. It is given my name is Devendra Das, my age, my occupation, my education, uh, uh, everything. When it is describing me, it is going to be a description of Devendra Das. Same thing when we said 2020 06 is the database, describe this database. So how should we going for describing our database? That is what we will learn now. Okay. Okay, guys.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll be starting with how to go for describing your database first. So what we do, guys, here we write select star from information underscore schema dot columns. You know what will happen if I run this program? It shows me in my current database, in my current database, what are the tables we have? Can you see this? Can you see this? Are you getting this,
Yes,
guys?
sir.
Yes, sir.
What are the
Yes.
field
Sir.
names it has? What are the data type it has? What are the length defined for this? This all information is coming to describe about a database. Can you see this? All the tables, each and every table one by one is showing.
Yes, sir.
What if I say I want to go with by selected tables only? So what I'll do here, I write select table underscore name from information underscore schema dot, you go for writing here tables. It shows me in this database how many tables are there. Only tables. Making sense?
Yes.
If you say select select, you write here the query name is column underscore name from information underscore schema dot, what you will choose here as columns, where table underscore name equal to made underscore 2020. That has to be in single quote. If you run this program, what is happening? It is showing in this table how many columns are there. Can you see this? So first thing, to describe the entire database with table name and columns and data types, etc. We go for writing this program to show all the tables inside the database. We go for this program to show the column name in a selected table. We go for this program. Making sense, guys? Understood?
So in the interviews, that do they ask us to
Yes.
write the program?
Yes. They'll ask you write the program in front of me. Padmini, this is a pen and paper. Padmini, this is what the table. Could you please write the query which we want to see? Padmini, can you please attend the online interview? This the link is given to you where there are 30
Okay.
SQL questions. You have to write the query online. The camera
Okay.
is on. You cannot take anyone's help. By the time you're
Okay.
answering the question, you have to do it by your own. So, guys, there was a time, I'm talking about 5 years, 4 years back, when you go through the queries, they'll ask you, they'll hire you. That is not happening nowadays. Everything is logical. They'll ask you questions logical. Before the interview happens, they will send you a link where you can apply online test. You clear the online test, then it goes to the next as a technical round, then manager, then on-site, then you go for selecting through the HRs. So guys, we have to have a hands-on from the day one. Okay. So when I say something, when I act something, sometimes you see that I'm little angry by the time when I want to express my feelings to you, but there is a logic, there is a reason behind it. I want to make you more practical. I can tell you I should not write this description before, because every time writing description, I'm expecting that this should be the self-sufficient document for you guys to read through, understand what is happening to the next step of it, and prepare yourself by filling the assignments which would be given just after the class today. This is the sequence of assignment is given. Around 30 questions are there, and I can guarantee one thing, guys. You finish the 30 questions, trust me, there is no such interview where you will ever feel like any question has been asked which is not there in this assignments. You will have 30 questions here. You just click on any of these questions, go and answer those. Come back to the home page. Again, go click on this, write the answer to these questions, come back. Please finish this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. So we have finished for today's class. Whatever is there, we'll do it tomorrow. But yes, the day one class has been finished, guys. I saved this code. Session 1 code is finished. I say Control E.